Okay, hi all. In this video we're going to solve between two equations where one of them is a linear equation and one of them is a quadratic equation. Now, a linear equation is where your variables, your x or your y or your a or your b, have a highest power of 1. And your quadratic is where the highest power is to the power of 2. So the method here I have written over on the side here, so if you want to pause the video when it's not blurry, and there we go. First of all, you isolate one of the variables in the linear equation, sub into the quadratic equation, simplify the resulting equation, solve the equation, and then sub your solution from step 4 back into the original linear equation. I'll talk about each of these as we go through it. So in this example, this is the linear equation, this is the quadratic equation, and the first step says isolate one of the variables in the linear equation. So in this equation, now by isolated I mean get either the x or the y on its own on one side of the equation. It doesn't matter which one you choose, so go for whichever one is easier. In this case, it's easier to get the y on its own because there's a coefficient of 2 in front of the x. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to call it y is equal to, I'm going to move the 2x over to the other side, making it a minus 2x, and you simply have y is equal to 3 minus 2x. So that's the first step done. The second step is to sub into the quadratic equation. So from the work you've done here, you've said that y is equal to this. So we're going to take the quadratic equation, and wherever we see a y, I'm going to sub in 3 minus 2x instead of it, because we know that they're equal. So taking this quadratic, it's going to be x squared plus x, and instead of xy, it's going to be x times 3 minus 2x plus y squared in the original, so it's going to be plus 3 minus 2x to be squared, and is equal to 3, just like it says in the original. So this is step 1, this is step 2. So according to this, step 3 is to simplify the resulting equation. So get rid of all the brackets, add like terms and that type of thing, get everything over to the one side and simplify. So step 3 gives you, well, this x squared is just an x squared. This I'm going to multiply out the brackets. X times 3 is 3x. X times minus 2x is minus 2x squared. And then plus, if I want to square 3 minus 2x, what I'm saying is I'm multiplying 3 minus 2x by 3 minus 2x. Now you can do that somewhere else in the page and then put your solution back in here if you wish, or you can write it all out here. I prefer to take this, multiply it at a different place in the page, and then put my solution back into that equation in a moment. So it's 3 minus 2x to be squared, and squaring that means multiplying it by itself, so that's 3 minus 2x by 3 minus 2x, and splitting the brackets, 3 times 3 minus 2x minus 2x times 3 minus 2x, 3 3s are 9, minus 6x minus 6x plus, because it's a minus by a minus, it's a plus, 2 2s are 4, x squared, and then putting that all together, 9 minus 6x is minus 12x plus 4x squared. So that then I'm going to take and I'm going to put it back into my equation instead of this 3 minus 2x squared. So back up here, and I'm going to put in plus 9 minus 12x plus 4x squared equals 3. That's step 3. So step 4 says solve the equation, or sorry, step 3 is simplify the resulting, so we're still not finished with step 3. So we've got an x squared, a minus 2x squared, and a plus 4x squared. So 4x squared minus 2x squared is 2x squared, plus 1x squared is 3x squared. We've got a 3x minus 12x, which is minus 9x, then we've got this plus 9. And if I bring the 3 over to the other side, that becomes a minus 3 equal to 0. And then one last part of the tidying up. Well, 2 steps really, I suppose. 3x squared minus 9x. 9 minus 3 is 6 equal to 0. So if you like, at this point, you can go on to step 4, where it says solve the equation from step 3. Or if you notice that all of these items here they have a common factor, they can all be divided by 3, you can simplify further and divide across by 3, giving you x squared minus 3x plus 2 equal to 0. So that's step 3 absolutely finished. Step 4 is to solve that equation. So that equation is a quadratic trinomial, and it always will be a quadratic, not necessarily a trinomial, unless some of your x squareds cancel out, in which case on an odd occasion you can get a linear equation here to solve. Okay, so step 4, solving that. Well, to solve it, you have 2 ways. You can either factorize this and solve it, or you can use the minus b formula. In this case, I'm going to factorize. So I'm going to say, since it's relatively straightforward, this is going to be x by x, giving me x squared. 2 is a prime number, so 2 factors, only 2 by 1. And since this is minus, it's going to be minus 2 minus 1. Taking them out of the brackets and putting them equal to 0. And then bringing that 2 over to the other side, x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 1. So we've got our 2 solutions for x, 2 possible values for x, but we're not finished there, because the next step, part 5, says we must sub those solutions from step 4, the x equal to 2 and x equal to 1, back into the original linear equation. Now I've underlined it because it's important. You always sub back into the linear equation. So up here we can see this is the linear, that's the quadratic. We want to be subbing back into this because we don't want to be messing with quadratics again and making our work more difficult. So subbing in here, step 5, we might first of all sub in this x plus 2, or x equal to 2 rather. So we have our linear as y equal to 3 minus 2x. And if x is 2, then y is equal to 3 minus 2 times 2. Y is equal to 3 minus 4. Y is equal to minus 1. So that's one of my solutions. X is equal to 2. Y is equal to minus 1. But another solution, so again I say y is equal to 3 minus 2x. And I sub in x equal to 1. So y is equal to 3 minus 2 times 1. So y is equal to 3 minus 2, y is equal to 1. So that's my other solution. So x equal to 1, y equal to 1. So you have 2 possible solutions. X is 2 and y is minus 1. X is 1, y is 1. So in these, you'll always have either 2 possible solutions, or sometimes, just because of the way it works out, you'll have just 1 value for x and 1 value for y.